Well, good evening, folks. Welcome back to the farm. Boy, I tell you, it sure is nice. If you would have come out here at 5:30 this morning, you would have seen about 3 inches of snow. And now it's warmed up to, I don't even know, like, it's got to be at least 10 degrees. Everything's melted. We're back to that green, glorious. I'm going to get the garden itch again. I tell you, I better not say it. Well, I've already said it out loud. I say the G word out loud. It has a tendency to snow. But fingers crossed we're done with that nonsense. I'm going to feed the rams here. They're getting down to their whittling their last little bale here down. And we're hoping that the grass starts to come in soon. We're getting kind of low on hay. Got a couple, 3-4 round bales left. But you can see the paddock they're in is starting to change a little bit of color. The one beside it, I've been keeping them out of there because that's what's going to actually, I'm going to turn them loose into there here next week. Probably rig up some electric netting down over on that side. Run them loose in there for a bit. I want to keep everybody up in the farmyard here right now as opposed to kick them loose on pasture just yet. Let those pastures recover a little bit. Plus, we also haven't had our shearer come in yet. So hopefully he can come here in the next couple weeks. Don't really want to have everybody go out to the field and then have to bring them all back to the farmyard. That can be more shenanigans, perhaps, than what we're ready for. I'm just gonna fill up the chickens' water, packing water. I tell you, packing water is the bane of my existence here. We're almost done. This vacuum style water, you can see it's wrapped in insulation. And I got some heat trace tape in there as well. And we usually can keep this outside pretty much all winter, except for when it gets really, really cold. But yeah, 6 months of the year, that's the hell that is my life. And I'm pretty much done with that. And I'm ready to just run the garden hose over to the floating water. It's not heated, of course, so that's why we can only use it in the summertime. But boy, oh boy, does that ever cut down the labor, just not having to pack water. Because you gotta do this every day, something like this. You know, the cat drinks out of it, the dog's gonna drink out of it, the chickens drink out of it. You know, it's pretty non-discriminatory. Whereas if it's just, you know, coming off the tap, that's, I mean, that's the ultimate, right? If I can do that and not have to pack that water, it's, I can spend, you know, high value time doing other things. Just having a look in the kitchen garden here. There's a disgusting amount of work we're gonna have to do here. But anyways, give it a couple months. It's gotta be full of vegetables. It's nice because it's right beside the house, right? So you can just come and you can pick your salad, greens, or whatever it is you want for your meal. Doesn't have to be super hard. Down here, way down at the bottom of the yard is the main garden, big garden. We're gonna head down there and have a look at the mulch pile. This here is our main garden. You can see there's some things that are popping up that are green that we certainly did not plant. No, that's grass, that's clover, that's wheat. And in the pathways, whatever, I don't care, right? It's a bit of like a living mulch layer. But the problem with all this is that it's basically pulling nutrients out of the beds, and so I want to kind of control that. So last year what we did, you can see the difference from this row to this row, right? We put straw and manure from the cattle bedding grounds over there and laid it down as a mulch layer. It made a significant difference. So this year, instead of using straw, I'm going to try something else, a little bit slightly different experiment. So we had a mound over in the sheep pen that was leftover hay and straw and sheep manure, not cattle manure, but sheep manure. And so it's just inundated with little pellets just like this. And it didn't really heat up the same because the sheep manure is a bit more balanced and it's not as nice and rich, so it didn't get very hot. So I might shoot myself in the foot for this one because there may be a whole bunch of grass seed in there, but nevertheless, anyways, I got all this pile of material over here and I'm going to be stacking these mulch layers probably 18 inches deep. I've already, you know, these ones were done last year, so they won't need as much. But the ones that we never mulched last year, yeah, they're going to be higher than the actual rows that we're growing in. So even though you can see it's like kind of like raised beds, once the mulch layers are in, they'll actually be sunken beds. And that's going to act as a big moisture sink, be big heat sink, weed barrier, as well as a nutrient sink for potatoes, carrots, peas, turnips, you name it. We're going to have pumpkins. We're going to have a whole pile of pumpkins. We're going to have like probably close to 100 pumpkins growing. I'm not sure even where we're going to put them. We're going to find a home for them anyways, but it's going to be pumpkin paradise here. Anyways, of course, there's no hiding it. Yeah, the sheep here, They want some attention. Sheep are kind of idiots, I tell you. I can see I got one right now. Well, two maybe. Their belly, you know, over the halfway line on the feeder. I bet you if they had to pull their head out of there, they'd be kind of high-centered. So I'm just gonna go tap somebody on the back, make sure they're not stuck in there. It's kind of funny when you come over here, because you come over here all the time, you hear this noise, right? Blah, blah, blah. They act like they're half-starved. The thing with sheep is, the better cared for they are, the more vocal they are. Boy, I tell you, they sure let you know. Anyways, this is what I'm talking about. High-centered in the feeder. This is Harriet. Yeah, she's real smart. So not a lot to it, right? Just kind of grab her by the hocks here, and away she goes. Triple happy teddy bears, but that's why every single day you got to come out here a couple times a day. Anytime you're using a feeder with a sheep, we've tried many different types. They always find unique ways to get stuck in there or put body parts in there that they shouldn't. And well, so you just got to stay on top of them, I guess. So we give the girls a 28% molasses-based sheep supplement, protein supplement, in a rollerball lick tank. And I just noticed they're getting low. They've been going through quite a bit here lately. Obviously lactating ewes, higher dietary requirements. So I'm gonna grab a bucket of it and then take it over there. But I'm not gonna carry it over there because the tote is way over there. That's a lesson learned. We first got this set up, we didn't have the barn yet, and the girls were in behind the shop. So the tote made sense there. Then it's on a trailer. It was wintertime, it got snowed in, and then once we moved the ewes over to our lambing pen, the trailer wasn't accessible. But when do we go through it? The majority of that product is probably right now. So once that's empty, we get around to next year and we go to fill it up again. It's probably going to get parked over here so that I don't have to pack those pails. And you're like, well, how heavy could it possibly be? Well, that molassified product is, what would it be? Incredibly heavy. I don't know. I don't even know what it weighs, but about twice as much as a bucket of water. So I certainly don't want to carry it that far. I think, therefore, I'm lazy. So I'm going to take my bucket, take the side-by-side, I'll fill it up, and I'll drive my bucket over there and top it up. I just come over to the molasses bulk tank, and as you can see, we're getting a little low. Just topped up my pail. This stuff pours a lot easier this time of year than it does when it's minus 40, but it does pour at minus 40. But yeah, I'm down to 35 gallons or about 150 liters, so that should be enough to get me by until everybody gets out on pasture. And we found last year, once they got out on that good fresh grass, that they wouldn't even touch the stuff. So probably not going to worry too much about it. We'll leave them, a mineral block, a salt lick, that kind of stuff out in the field. But, largely, they just kind of go for it as they need it. So I'm not going to panic too much about refilling the tote until probably next fall. So back over here at the barn, you can hear everybody's very vocal. They just absolutely love this stuff. By the way, you want to have a dedicated molasses pail because this stuff gets kind of greasy, and you don't want to keep all your buckets looking like that. But yeah, once they get that gate open, I'm literally going to have to fight them off of this stuff. Another neat little thing I've been doing, I've been using this old stock rack I picked up from an auction. I think it cost me like $20 or $25. It was cheap. Nobody else wanted it. Single bid, it was done. But I've been using it as a creep feeder because the lambs can get in there and nibble on some grain. But these big old fatties can't get in there past their shoulders, so dump a few bites in the center. Let these lambs get a little bit fatter, a little bit more developed. Seems to be working out all right. The only problem is it attracts chickens and magpies. I don't particularly, it's the whole thing about avian bird flu right now. I don't know if it's a thing or if it's a conspiracy. I really don't care. I still don't particularly want magpies and chickens occupying the same space. So I'm probably going to end up actually putting some sheets of tin over here to stop those aerial birds from venturing in here and trying to steal something that doesn't belong to them. There's point of clarity on the old bird flu conspiracy. Do I really think it's a conspiracy? You know what? Probably not, but I think it's a little bit suspicious, how in fact our supply chains are pretty much crippled. Let's be honest. They've been broken for a number of years now, not getting any better. And yet government bureaucrats keep throwing red tape and obstacles in front of small producers, well, large producers too, and making it harder and harder to get food to the front lines to where people need it, you know, and yeah, confusing logic. Let's just say that. I don't understand it. Somebody in government probably does, but they probably don't understand farming. Anyways, that stuff's out of my control. All I can do is go feed my lambs and plant my potatoes and just worry about me. So I better let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow.